When people think of the Philippines, they often picture crystal clear waters, white sand beaches, and tropical islands scattered across the Pacific. But beyond these familiar images lies a landscape far more dramatic than most travelers ever experience. This is a country shaped by powerful geological forces, where active volcanoes rise above fertile plains. Rivers disappear into vast cave systems, and dense rainforests cover mountains carved over millions of years. Beneath the surface, tectonic plates continue to collide, fueling eruptions, earthquakes, and the slow creation of new land. Every island, every valley, and every towering peak tells the story of a landscape that is still evolving. To understand the Philippines is to look beyond its coastlines and discover the extraordinary natural forces that continue to shape this remarkable archipelago. Standing majestically above the Albay Islands, Mount Mayon is one of the most famous natural landmarks of the Philippines. The mountain's name originates from the legend of Daragang Magayon, meaning beautiful maiden, a name associated with the mountain's nearly perfect cone shape. At 462 meters, 877 feet high, Mayon slopes are inclined at nearly 45 degrees. Creating a rare and balanced shape in nature. At its summit is a crater that continuously spews steam and volcanic gases, indicating the continued existence of immense energy beneath. Hidden behind this beauty is one of the most active stratovolcanoes in the Philippines. Mayon was formed when the Philippine Sea Plate subducted beneath the Philippine Mobile Belt, right on the Pacific Ring of Fire. Since 1616, Mayon has erupted more than 50 times. The most devastating disaster occurred in 1814, when volcanic ash and rocks buried numerous villages, claiming the lives of over 1,000 people. To this day, Mayon remains closely monitored, because behind its almost perfect exterior lies a volcano that has never truly been dormant. Nestled in the interior of Bohol Island, the Chocolate Hills are one of the most unique landscapes in the Philippines. During the rainy season, over 200 hills are covered in lush green. But when the dry season arrives, the grass gradually turns yellow and then dark brown, resembling giant chocolates, hence the name Chocolate Hills. Despite their conical volcanic shape, the Chocolate Hills were not formed by volcanic activity. Millions of years ago, this area lay beneath a shallow sea, where layers of limestone from coral and marine life accumulated over time. As tectonic movements lifted the seabed, rain and weathering gradually eroded the limestone, creating thousands of nearly identical hills. Many hills reach heights of up to 120 meters, standing out among the interwoven valleys like a natural labyrinth. The soil at the summit is quite thin and poor in nutrients, making it difficult for large trees to grow, while the surrounding lowlands remain covered in the green of meadows and forests. This contrast creates a landscape of undulating brown waves stretching to the horizon. Nestled within the pristine forests of Davao Oriental Province, Aliwagwag Falls emerges as a colossal waterfall cascading down amidst the lush green canopy. Instead of falling directly from a single cliff, the water flows over 130 consecutive tiers, creating a total height of approximately 340 meters, making it the tallest multi-tiered waterfall system in the Philippines. The Taal River meanders through the natural limestone steps, forming numerous small pools at each tier before continuing its descent to the next. This unique structure creates a series of cascading white waterfalls, resembling giant steps through the tropical forest. In 2012, Super Typhoon Pablo swept through the area with fierce winds, leveling many surrounding forests. However, the rock steps, formed millions of years ago, still stand firm against the ravages of nature. Over time, moss, ferns, and various plant species have covered the cliffs, which remain damp from the mist of the waterfall. During the rainy season, the water flow increases dramatically, transforming Aliwagwag into a relentless, swirling wall of white water. The sound of water crashing against large rocks echoes throughout the forest, and the ground seems to tremble from the power of the waterfall, even as it is hidden behind the trees. Nestled amidst the tropical forests of Surigao del Sur province, Tanuyan Falls impresses with its curtain of water reaching 95 meters wide, making it the widest waterfall in the Philippines. The falls cascade down 3 tiers, descending a total of approximately 55 meters before merging into a large natural pool below. Every morning, from around 9 to 11 a.m., when sunlight pierces through the thin mist created by the falls, multicolored rainbows appear and hover above the white wall of water. This is also the most beautiful time of day for Tinuyan, attracting tourists and photographers from all over. The abundant water from the Bislig River continuously flows down, creating layers of white foam and a veil of mist that envelops the surrounding forest. Visitors can ride on bamboo rafts to get close to the base of the falls, where the roar of the water almost drowns out all other sounds. The powerful flow of water also creates constant cool breezes blowing along the riverbanks, causing the surrounding trees to always sway in the current. The entire landscape is formed on a bed of ancient limestone, interspersed with volcanic rock. Layers of rock that have withstood the erosion of tropical rains for millions of years, creating one of the most majestic and distinctive waterfalls in the Philippines. Limunsudan Falls, nestled in the rugged mountains of Iligan, stands like a giant amidst the wilderness. From afar, the roar of the cascading water echoing through the canyons heralds the presence of one of the tallest waterfalls in the Philippines. With a total height of approximately 265 meters, Limunsudan is distinguished by its two-tiered structure cascading down steep cliffs. The water from the upper tier plunges into a natural pool before continuing its powerful descent through the second tier, creating a majestic scene against the dark volcanic rock. Fine mist continuously rises from the base of the falls, nourishing the moss, ferns, and lush vegetation that clings to the rock surfaces. The terrain here is extremely rugged, with deep canyons and dense forests surrounding it, making access to Limunsudan a significant challenge. Therefore, very few people have the opportunity to reach the base of the falls and witness its true scale firsthand. For the Higaonon people, this area is not only a natural wonder, but also a sacred land that has been connected to the community for generations. The cliffs are so high that sunlight struggles to reach the bottom of the gorge for much of the day, keeping the air cool and humid. Thousands of liters of water cascade down every second, creating a resounding roar that shakes even the massive rocks at the foot of the falls. Unlike most waterfalls in the world, Asik-Asik doesn't originate from a river flowing over a cliff face. Instead, hundreds of small streams unexpectedly gush from cracks in the moss-covered cliff, creating a gentle curtain of water stretching approximately 140 meters. In 2010, a major landslide swept away the outer layer of vegetation, inadvertently revealing a hidden underground water system deep within the mountain. After being naturally filtered through layers of volcanic rock, the crystal-clear water continuously flows from the cliff, forming countless slender waterfalls about 60 meters high. The entire cliff is covered in moss, ferns, and lush green vine, making the mountain look like a living wall constantly flowing. Instead of the roaring sound of many other waterfalls, Asik-Asik only emits a gentle trickling sound, creating a tranquil and secluded atmosphere amidst the mountains and forests. Even during the rainy season, the water here remains clear and cold, thanks to the process of seepage through the layers of rock below. The absence of any river flowing above the cliffs adds to Asik-Asik's unique beauty, as if the water were flowing directly from the heart of the mountain. At the foot of the waterfall lies a shallow pool filled with white pebbles smoothed by the flowing water over hundreds of years. Perched precariously on the slopes of Ifugao province, the Batad rice terraces are one of the most impressive man-made wonders in the Philippines. Handcrafted by the Ifugao people over 20 years ago, these terraced rice paddies form a giant arc, embracing the mountainside like a natural grandstand amidst the Cordillera mountain range. Unlike many other terraced rice paddies built solely of earth, Batad is reinforced with sturdy stone walls. This allows the terraces to stand firm on the steep terrain of the high mountains. Water is channeled from the forests above through a gravity-driven irrigation system, distributing water to each terrace without any modern machinery. Located at an altitude of approximately 1,500 meters above sea level, Batad changes its appearance with each season. When the terraces are flooded, the entire valley reflects the sky and surrounding mountain peaks like giant mirrors. During the rice growing season, the entire hillside turns a vibrant green, before turning a golden yellow in the harvest season. Each terraced rice field is created according to the natural contours of the hillside, forming a series of curves stretching across the valley. More than just an agricultural structure, Batad is also a testament to humanity's extraordinary adaptability to nature and is considered one of the most distinctive cultural landscapes in Southeast Asia. Located in the central region of Mindanao Island, the Bukidnon Highlands offer a completely different landscape from the familiar tropical image of the Philippines. The undulating plateaus, winding roads between mountains, and the almost year-round mist create a cool climate rarely seen in a country situated near the equator. The low temperatures and fertile volcanic soil have made Bukidnon one of the country's most important agricultural regions. Over 20,000 hectares of pineapple plantations stretch across the hillsides, interspersed with vast grasslands where livestock graze peacefully. The scenery here evokes images of European countryside rather than a tropical island. On the mountain ranges, Benguet pine forests blanket the slopes, always damp with clouds and mist. At dawn, fog rises from the valleys, obscuring almost the entire landscape, revealing only the mountain peaks rising from the sea of clouds. Winding roads along the mountain slopes connect the highland communities with the plains below. At the same time, the mossy forests also act as a natural water reservoir, retaining rainwater and slowly supplying water to many major rivers on Mindanao Island, helping to maintain the ecosystem and the lives of millions of people. Nestled amidst the forests of Surigao del Sur lies a river with a striking sapphire blue color, standing out against the tropical vegetation. This is the Hinatuan Enchanted River. The river's source doesn't originate from a surface stream, but flows up from a system of caves deep within the mountains. To this day, many areas within this system remain largely unexplored due to its great depth and strong countercurrents. The water is so clear that you can clearly see the white limestone bedrock at the bottom. From the surface, boats appear to float in midair. At precisely 12 noon each day, a bell rings, signaling feeding time. Hundreds of fish immediately swim out from the crevices in the rocks to gather around the feeding area, creating a truly spectacular sight. Although it eventually flows into the Pacific Ocean, the river has a higher than normal salinity. This suggests it is likely connected to the sea through a network of underground caves. The central area of the sinkhole is over 80 meters deep and remains a mystery to divers. For safety reasons, visitors are not allowed to swim in the deep water. When sunlight shines down, the minerals in the water reflect the light, creating a distinctive glowing blue color. Even on cloudy days, this blue hue is still clearly visible. Surrounding the river are sheer limestone cliffs and primeval forests, creating a landscape unlike most rivers in the Philippines. The Puerto Princesa underground river takes visitors into a world almost completely isolated from the outside light. After just a few strokes of the paddle, the enormous cave entrance closes behind, giving way to darkness that envelops the entire space. The underground river flows for more than 5 miles through the limestone mountains before emptying into the South China Sea. Inside the cave, thousands of bats cling to the rock arches, creating a distinctive smell of bat droppings. Over millions of years, water has eroded and deposited stalactites and stalagmites in all sorts of shapes. The only source of light comes from flashlights on small boats. The light glides across the smooth limestone walls, revealing traces of the water that has silently flowed through this place for millions of years. Some cave chambers have domes up to 60 meters above the water surface, creating a breathtaking sight when looking up. This is also one of the few underground river systems directly affected by tides. Salt water from the sea flows into the cave with the tide and mixes with fresh water, forming a unique ecosystem. The deeper you go, the more the light disappears. Only the sound of water dripping from the rock arches and the echoes reverberating in the vast spaces remain, making the journey through this underground cave system a mysterious and awe-inspiring experience. Langun Gobingob is the largest cave system in the Philippines, stretching over 11 kilometers. Comprising 12 main chambers connected to each other beneath the limestone mountains of Samar Island. One of the most impressive spaces is known as the Mother of All Chambers. This chamber is so large that it could hold several football fields under its enormous dome. To reach the inside, visitors must traverse the rainforest, climb steep cliffs, and use ropes to descend into deep pits. The cave floor is always slippery with mud and bat guano, while many sections are just narrow crevices or sheer cliffs requiring climbing skills and specialized equipment. Inside the cave, the temperature remains almost constant year-round, and humidity is always very high. From the cave ceiling, gigantic stalactites up to 10 meters long hang down like chandeliers of stone. All of this was formed over millions of years as rainwater dissolved layers of limestone, gradually creating the massive cave network we see today. It wasn't until the late 20th century that the entire system was fully mapped. The survey revealed many species of organisms that only survive in absolute darkness, such as blind fish and giant cave crickets. In the deepest areas, where water no longer flows, the walls are covered with layers of white crystalline rock and shimmering stalactites. The light from headlamps only illuminates a portion of the space, while much of the dome remains shrouded in darkness, making the true scale of the cave only perceptible through the silence and the vast emptiness surrounding it. Biak-na-Bato is a rugged limestone mountain region in Bulacan province. Its terrain is famous for its jagged cliffs, narrow crevices, and dense network of caves. The Madlum River meanders through the rock formations, eroding the landscape over millions of years and creating more than 100 caves of varying sizes. Historically, this complex terrain has transformed Biak-na-Bato into a natural fortress. Many caves were used as shelters, field hospitals, and command centers during the Philippine Revolution. Today, suspension bridges spanning the gorges allow visitors to observe the turquoise waters flowing below. The area is surrounded by tropical rainforest. Home to many rare animals, such as the Philippine wild boar and the giant clouded rat. Inside the caves, the air remains cool thanks to the thick limestone, contrasting sharply with the heat outside. On the rocky surface, small pools of water form after rain, creating habitats for many species of insects and invertebrates. Through thousands of years of weathering, the cliffs still retain their rugged features, reflecting the continuous process of geological formation and erosion by nature. On the northern coast of Luzon Island, the white limestone formations of Kapurpurawan stand out against the deep blue of the East China Sea. In Ilocano, Kapurpurawan means white, a name derived from the distinctive color of the cliffs. For millions of years, ocean waves and strong winds have continuously eroded the soft limestone, creating arches, curves, and strangely shaped rock formations. Some formations resemble animals gazing out at the sea, while many other surfaces feature undulating lines like petrified waves. The rock surfaces are quite rough and sharp. Salty sea vapor constantly clings to the small cracks, leaving behind tiny salt crystals after the water evaporates. During the monsoon season, this area often experiences large waves and strong winds, causing the weathering process to occur much faster than in other coastal areas. What makes Kapurpurawan unique is the striking contrast between the white of the limestone and the deep blue of the ocean. The thin layer of soil and high salt content mean that very few plants can grow on the rocky surface. To this day, sea waves, wind, and geological movements continue to erode the coastline, causing the shape of the rock formations to change slowly over time. At the northernmost point of the Philippines, the Batanes cliffs rise steeply out into the Pacific Ocean. Unlike the typical tropical islands with palm forests and white sandy beaches, the Batanes resemble a temperate coastal region. Vast stretches of grassland extend to the edge of the cliffs, with almost no tall trees due to the area's frequent exposure to storms and strong ocean winds. At the foot of the cliffs lie countless large rocks, smoothed by the waves of thousands of years. The landscape here is formed from a combination of volcanic rock and coral formations, uplifted by tectonic activity in the Luzon Strait. On stormy days, the waves crash so hard that seawater splashes up onto the grasslands at the top of the cliffs. The air is always thick with salt spray and sea mist, often shrouding the horizon in a hazy mist. Each winter, cold ocean currents from the north sweep across the Batanes Sea, bringing with them many migratory marine creatures to the deeper waters at the foot of the cliffs. Along the arc-shaped coastline of Ilocos Norte province, the 20 giant wind turbines of Bangui wind farm are arranged in a continuous line, forming one of the most famous renewable energy symbols in the Philippines. Thanks to the steady winds blowing from the East Sea, the blades continuously rotate, creating a scene that is both modern and harmonious with nature. Each turbine is approximately 70 meters tall, with blades 33 meters long. The entire plant stretches nearly 3 miles along the coast and once supplied about 40% of Ilocos Norte province's electricity needs. Due to frequent strong storms, the turbines are designed with an automatic blade locking system when wind speeds exceed safe limits to prevent damage. The white towers stand out against the dark volcanic sand, creating a striking contrast between the man-made structure and the natural landscape. Strong winds blowing almost year-round also cause many coastal trees to lean significantly to one side. The steady sound of the windmills, blending with a continuous lapping of the waves, has become a familiar sound of the Bangui Sea area. In the middle of Lake Taal lies one of the world's rarest geological phenomena, Volcano Island. This is a small piece of land located inside the Taal volcanic crater. The crater contains a lake, which itself is situated on Volcano Island, and the entire island continues to lie in the middle of Lake Taal. This unique layered structure was formed after thousands of years of continuous volcanic eruptions and subsidence. Taal is one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines. The underlying geological heat keeps many areas around the crater constantly hot. Steam and volcanic gases continuously escape from cracks in the ground. The lake water also contains high levels of minerals and sulfur compounds, making it much more acidic than typical lakes. The 2020 eruption significantly altered the area's topography. Volcanic ash covered the vegetation. The lake's water level fluctuated, and many surrounding landscapes were recreated after the eruption. To this day, scientists maintain a network of seismic and volcanic gas monitoring equipment to track any signs of activity at Taal. Only when observed from above can one fully appreciate the unique geological structure that makes Volcano Point one of the strangest places on Earth. Calangaman Island in the Philippines is famous for its pristine white sand beach, stretching hundreds of meters into the ocean. The amazing thing is that the shape of this sandbar is never fixed. It constantly changes and undulates with each breeze and the ebb and flow of the tide. The name Calangaman comes from a Cebuano word meaning bird, a metaphor for the two long stretches of sand that appear at low tide. The island's vegetation is quite modest, concentrated in a small area in the center with lush green coconut groves. providing a rare, cool shade amidst the dazzling sun reflected from the white sand. To protect this extremely sensitive ecosystem, local authorities limit the number of visitors to no more than 500 per day. Furthermore, each person is required to take all their waste back to the mainland, absolutely preventing any accumulation of trash on this small island. The water here is astonishingly clear, with visibility down to 20 meters. When the tide rises, that charming long stretch of sand temporarily disappears beneath the blue water, leaving only the central island standing alone amidst the sea and sky. It is this constant shifting of the sandbanks that creates the most unique feature. No one who comes here will see the same shape of the island twice. The existence of the Manjuyod sandbar in the Bay of Bass is entirely governed by the rhythm of the tides. The existence of the Manjuyod sandbar in the Bay of Bass is entirely governed by the rhythm of the tides, causing it to appear and disappear like magic for half the day. Only when the tide is at its lowest point does a 7-kilometer-long paradise of fine white sand reveal itself, proudly parting the clear blue sea. The water in the bay is so clear that even from a boat, you can see the fine grains of sand at the bottom, several meters deep, without any obstruction. The most unique feature here is the wooden houses built on towering stilts. When the tide rises, the entire sandbar is swallowed by the ocean, transforming these houses into floating oases in the middle of the sea. Without electricity or modern amenities, they mainly serve as temporary rest stops for tourists and fishermen. For a few brief hours, the sandbar emerges from the water, and local fishermen quickly paddle out to sell fresh seafood and cool coconuts to tourists. However, the fun here is always a race against time. The transition from a dry, sandy beach to deep water happens incredibly quickly, accompanied by sudden changes in ocean currents as the bay fills with water. Despite its harsh conditions, this wetland is a peaceful sanctuary, sheltering precious marine life in its shallow areas. When the last strip of sand sinks deep into the waters of the Bay of Bay, the boundary between land and ocean is completely blurred. But that's only what the naked eye can see on the surface of this planet. And perhaps this strange planet still holds secrets that humans have never touched. Right on the other side of the ocean.